Hey, what's up guys? It's Glenn with DIY Creators, and today I'm going to be making this simple but stylish magazine rack. Now this particular build can be very simple to make. All I had to purchase was this 1x2 piece of wood, and the rest of the pieces I had was in stock. And this design called for a few 45-degree cuts, and don't worry, you do not have to have a miter saw to make these cuts. You can also use a miter box. I will have a link in the description for this particular miter box that I'm using. And after setting up a stop block, I can then make continuous cuts. And in about 20 seconds, I will share all the measurements with you guys that I use for this project. The piece of wood I'm using for the back plane of the magazine rack comes in 8-foot sticks. I cut one piece larger than 40 inches long, and then I clamped the two together. I then made the first cut, cutting both pieces at one time, moved the clamp to the opposite side, and then I made the final cut at 40 inches long. And this will ensure that both pieces are the same length. And here's all the measurements I use for this build. And before continuing, I just set these pieces up to make sure that everything lines up and it looks good before I begin the gluing process. And to speed things up a bit for me, I use my nail gun, but you can always use screws or nail by hand. Just duplicate the same step 2 more times and you should have 3 identical pieces. Now attach this 3-inch piece as shown in the video. Now since I didn't get a good shot of doing this part in the video, I just wanted to highlight this and let you guys know where I'm at in the video, and I'm working on the back plane for the magazine rack. If you don't have access to one of the vice clamps like I used early on in the video, you can try this method as well. For example, I used my table saw fence as a stop, then I took a piece of wood and placed it over the 2 joints, and then I used my nail gun to nail it. Now the main purpose of this is to keep the 2 pieces of wood flush with each other. Next, take some wood filler and fill in the nail holes and also the wood joints, and this should help fill up those areas so once sanded it has one smooth surface. I didn't spend too much time sanding. The wood I'm using here is pretty smooth itself, so I hit it with a light coat of sand and I focused mainly on the areas that I applied wood filler and also the areas that I cut. Now to attach the shelves, I glued them and then I clamped my square onto the back frame, and then I placed those in place. I used my wood clamps to hold those down while they dry. And while that's sitting in place, I measured 12.5 inches from the top part of the shelf. Then I placed the square at the back of the 12-inch mark. Next, place the next shelf right at this location, clamp that down as well, and let the glue dry. Just carry out the same step for the next shelf. Now after letting that sit for about an hour, I removed the clamps and then I flipped that over and marked all the location where I want to install screws. Now using a combination square is perfect for this type of situation. It helps you get the same exact measurements going all the way around. And you can also use the combination square to make this mark as well, which I basically just transferred the center point of the wood underneath to the top. And right where the line cross each other, that's the center point. So we want to use a drill bit to make a hole here and then install the screws. And you don't want to install the screws without drilling the hole because you will split the wood. And to seal the wood, I use a Minwax clear coat urethane. And after the first coat of urethane dried, I came back with a 320 sandpaper and I sanded it down lightly, and it had a rough texture on it, so this smoothed it out, and then one more coat of urethane and that gave it a very smooth finished glass-like look. Now the first plan for this project was to wall mount it, and during the build process I had a change of heart. I decided that I wanted to be freestanding. And now to make the stand, I used a piece of 1x3, which I then cut at a 45-degree angle to attach it to this piece of wood. Now of course I had to go through that process again to get this piece to match the rest of the rack. And once that's ready, I can apply a few nails in the side, and then guys, this is another one in the books. So on a side note, I do want to let you guys know that I am working on the next tool for the limited tool series. So just be patient, it's coming very soon. I think that one's gonna be very special to add to your workspace. I can't wait to get that one done. Hopefully I get that one done by the end of the week or early next week so I can have it posted soon. If you guys are new to the channel, you have no clue what I'm talking about when I mention limited tools. That's a series on the channel where I'm showing some of you guys how to build your own tools so you can build some of the projects that I make and empower you guys to make. So stay tuned. You can check out the limited tools playlist to get caught up so you'll be ready for the next one. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.